out here. Kind of looks like Henry Gardner wrote it, but it works. Oh, they're backwards. All right, sweet. Can I just say I have like a total professional crush on Leanne Pittsburgh. She is amazing, right? If you haven't been to the Lesbians Who Tech conference, I highly encourage you to go. The energy is unrivaled, and it's a really good experience. Okay, so with that, I want to start today with a story. About 3 years ago, I took a month vacation. I was at a job where I was underpaid and overworked. And I had about 3 weeks vacation, and I took it off, and I took an extra week as well. And during that time, during my month, I danced, sorry, I'm totally off here. During that time, I danced with my girlfriend on a rooftop bar in Budapest till the sun came up. I lounged in the bathhouses of Budapest and tried to be a local. And then I met up with 9 of my besties on a small island in Croatia, Vis. A place where my hardest decision of the day was, do I swim before breakfast or after breakfast? The answer is both. My days there, they consisted of eating, reading, eating more, ice cream, playing card games on rooftops, and every night we'd end the evening around a communal table toasting to our villa. We had rented a villa. And each night usually ended with skinny dipping under the moon because the sea was only 10 meters away from our villa. Now, it's the kind of trip that I like to call a BYOQ trip, bring your own queers, and it was a ridiculously good time. And after that, when I got back and I told my coworkers about this month off that I had, they always said to me, oh, that's really cool, but I could never do that. I'm too busy. And I went, well, that's odd. And then I looked at the stats, and the stats show 41% of Americans didn't even take a vacation day last year. 13% of only 13% of Americans went abroad between August 2013 and August 2014. And so when Matt asked me to talk today about being about being LGBT in a global space, I was super stoked. Because I am a woman on a mission, and my mission is to get more queer women abroad. Okay, so I started thinking of titles. And I was like, okay, what could I talk about today? Future global leaders. I thought that was a little bit too formal. So I went with how to flirt with women in foreign spaces. And that's pretty practical, and I like that idea. Very practical, actually. Safety tips for queer women abroad. Even more practical. How to find lesbians in foreign countries. Also good. Quick answer to that. Drag shows and art communities. Okay? But then as I was thinking about these titles, I started wondering, I was like, I started thinking about the stats, and then I started thinking about my own experience. And as I took on more responsibilities in my jobs and stuff like that, I started noticing that as we move forward and we progress, we start losing our sense of curiosity and that sense of exploration and really that sense of fun. And I saw that in the managers that I supported who felt guilty for taking a week off, just a week, right? In the executives that I supported who hadn't taken a vacation in years. All right? I even see it in the students, the MBA students who, after working so hard for 2 years, go right to work without taking some time for themselves. So, when it came time to come up with a title, I came up with All Aboard the Gaycation Train. Because I am here today to motivate you to take a vacation abroad. Now, it seems simple enough. You guys are busy. You're out there. You're conquering the world. We have heard some phenomenal stories today about all the efforts out there. So you may be thinking, well, I got so much else to do. Why should I worry about a vacation? And yet, the question you should be asking is, why not? Because when you look at the benefits of vacation, reduce stress, getting out of your daily rut, perspective, I just blanked on that, that's all word. The other benefit of vacation is creativity, improved creativity. It's hard not to think about having a vacation, right? Did you know that the founder of Instagram, he came up with the idea while he was on a beach in Baja, Mexico, not staring at a screen, all right? So then I like to add on the added value of a gaycation, right? Because that's fun too. Gaycations, what do we got? Discovering queer women with accents, finding an LGBT bookstore in a foreign country, stumbling on a queer community in a vegan art collective. That's a good place to find them. Learning languages across cultures. Those are all the benefits that we can add on to it. The question then is, why don't we travel? And I think it comes down to, we're all caught up in this idea of being busy, right? You've heard these conversations where everybody's like, oh, I'm so busy, I've got this to do. And the other person says, oh, I'm so busy too, I'm crazy busy. And we're all trying to out-busy each other. And then we forget that it's okay to not be busy. It's okay to take a break. Calm down. Stop rushing. And I know you've heard this before, okay? But in fact, the other part to this too is that sometimes we feel guilty, right? If we're working so hard, we don't want to be perceived as a slacker or someone that's not also contributing to the team. In fact, travel makes you a better employee. We've heard a lot about leadership today, those qualities of a leader: curiosity, self-awareness, openness to new ideas. When you travel, you nurture those qualities. Because travel abroad is full of tiny achievements as you go, okay? So when you're sitting there in a foreign country and you're trying to decipher the menu and you finally end up ordering something and you end up with a plate of deliciousness, you're nurturing that cleverness, okay, and that flexibility. When you're learning another language and you're trying out new words, right, you're nurturing your confidence. When you allow yourself to get lost in a city and make it all the way back home, you're nurturing your curiosity. And all these pieces, they add up. They add up to more confidence, more openness, the skills that you can bring right back to work, right back to your team and to your colleagues. Where was I at? Oh, right. The personal benefits, though. What do we get out of that? We get the ability to push ourselves, to go beyond our boundaries, to say yes to things and try new things. I tell you, the first time that you let go of your perfectly planned schedule and with all the must-sees and the museums and let it go just because you met someone new at the train station and there's an adventure out there, it's liberating. On that note, I should talk about safety, since we're talking about stranger danger. We are queers traveling abroad, and we have we're women and we're queers, and we all know it's not all rainbows and unicorns out there. It's up to us to understand what the laws are in other countries. Earlier today, I found on The Guardian, they have an excellent interactive tool where you can look up all the rules in another country with regard to same-sex relationships. Whether it's consensual sex, adoption, workplace protections for those of you who have expat aspirations. All right, I tweeted that, it's on the hashtag. But it's up to us to figure out what those rules are before we go, so we can stay safe. It's also up to us to understand the cultural rules where we go, right? I've heard a lot about like the global thinking today, and that was my sentence. The global thinking today, and it's up to you to figure out where you're going to be safe. Because when you're traveling, you're constantly coming out, right? You get in these in-depth conversations with people, and you talk about your lives and your dreams and where you came from, and then it's hard to keep that part of yourself separate from those conversations, and you may not have a safe space to do it. So it's important that you know those rules ahead of time. Also, with that said, we've talked a lot about perspective today, and I just want to share that as a white cisgender woman, I cannot speak to the perspectives of those of you who are women of color or transgender or have a genderqueer presentation, and I can't speak to those experiences abroad. So when I talk about being open to these perspectives, it means also being open to our own perspectives in our own communities. And so I hope that, through talking about this, we're able to share stories and be able to learn from each other about what it's been like in other cultures and traveling from those perspectives. With that, I should probably end. I would like to give you some ideas. I mean, I am a woman on a mission with ideas to get you abroad. I have a couple of different things coming up this year that I think would benefit you. The first one would be language school abroad, right? If you haven't studied abroad before, or maybe you want to go back to studying abroad, there are 2 gay-friendly schools, one in Italy and one in Mexico. It's an exciting chance to not only travel, but get into the culture, have a cultural immersion with a host family, learn a language, and learn things like how to cook or how to dance in a place. Pride, another great way. Show up to Pride. Pick a country and go. Amsterdam, Oslo, Madrid. Even Iceland, they have a winter pride where the entire country comes out, about 300,000 people, to celebrate Pride. We talk about rolling out the welcome mat for you, right? Another great idea. In the Loire Valley, there's a lesbian-owned B&B out there. It combines it's in the Loire Valley. You can go wine tasting, learn about the region, and it'll make for a really good experience. Last one, Lesbian Surf Camp is happening in Brazil this year, okay? It's put on by Brazil Eco Journeys. It's a great chance for those of you that are more adventurous and you want to get out there and try something in a safe space. Another good option. And I say those, I have no financial ties to those companies. I just like the internet a lot and Googling dream vacations. So I ask you, when you go out there, when you're thinking about your next vacation or your next job, think about making the ask, right? Make the ask for additional vacation time. Make the ask for, if you're going to quit a job and you want to start a new job, make time for yourself to go on these adventures. So in closing, I'd just like to say that I hope to see you all in a foreign place, and when we do, I will toast to us and our fabulous gaycations. Thank you.